Hi guys, welcome back to ChaBui Playz. So today we are going to continue on our set review for our upcoming set Cosmic Eclipse. So this time we are on the second part of Alter Genesis. We are going to the end of the set review already, and as you know, the Cosmic Eclipse set will be coming up very soon, so yeah, let's look forward to it. There are definitely a lot of good cards that I want to try to play on this set. Sadly, the set is very big, so I believe it'll be very hard to get the cards we need, but we can do it slowly. Okay, so we move on to the fighting type of Alter Genesis. First up, we have no spares. I believe it evolves to provoke pass steel type later, so we'll just skip this basic. Next up, we have the Trapinch line. The two Trapinch, also just a basic. I don't know again why do you always print two of the basic? Why? But okay, I don't really see a difference other than the HP. Yeah, but never mind. Let's move on. Okay, then it evolves to Vibrava, stage 1. It actually has the ability when your opponents play supporter cards from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to this Pokemon. What supporter can affect this? Guzma? I mean, I guess it's a bit relevant in Japanese then, because it can protect itself from Guzma, but in the English expansion, nah. But then again, it's just a stage 1, so not a lot of people will actually play it because they'll choose to play Rare Candy instead. So the stage 2 here, we have our next GX Pokemon, which is Flygon GX. So the ability Sandstorm Protection. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, any damage done to your Pokemon from your opponent's attack is reduced by 30. Okay, this is actually quite good, I believe. I mean, it's just an additional reduction of damage, but considering that you have 240 HP, with this reduction you're actually going to survive 2 hit KO from those Pokemon that does 120, 130 damage for each turn. So things like Giratina is supposed to be able to 2-hit Flygon GX, but because of this ability, the Giratina will not be able to do so, as it will do 100 damage instead. Of course, here we are not going to consider about spell tag yet, but yeah, it's quite good, and at the same time it also protects your it also protects your bench Pokemon as well. And things like, if you remember, Tapu Koko, I know it's not in rotation in English, but in Japan it's still in rotation. And Wheezing, that does 20 damage for each bench, also will not be able to do significant damage to your bench because of this Pokemon. Okay, then we look at the attack. 3 fighting in the G Desert Hurricane, 120 plus damage. If there's any stadium card in play, this attack does 120 more damage. Then discard that stadium card. So this is actually very good, because again, stadium card is actually a very easy thing to have as a condition. The only bad thing is discard that stadium card. So if you run things like Dojo, you need to run a lot of Dojo, because you're going to discard the stadium every turn you attack with 3 fighting energy. And the other thing is 3 fighting energy, again, fighting deck, they don't really have a lot of energy acceleration, so it's still not a very easy condition to reach. Okay, then the GX attack itself, 3 fighting energy, Sonic Edge, GX, 220 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects of your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's a pure damaging move. But the good thing about this pure damaging move means that you are going to break through Keldeo GX easily, because Keldeo GX, I believe, have less than 220 HP, and this attack will not be affected by Keldeo's GX ability that prevents damage from GX Pokemon. So even if you are facing against Keldeo GX or things like, I think there's another one. Okay, never mind. I was referring to Alolan Persian GX, but I mean, in this case we are not going to run special energy, and we are not Ultra Beast, and we are not tag team as well, so it is not very relevant. But yeah, Keldeo GX will not be very useful against this deck. The problem is just you can only use it one turn, so most probably you're still going to run that Power Plant GX to go against Keldeo and things like Whimsicott GX. Okay, it is actually not the best cards out there. Definitely a bit hard to pull off, and you need to sacrifice some Pokemon before you are able to use the attack because of 3 fighting energy. But you know, Trapinch and Flygons are actually my favorite Pokemon, so I am definitely trying this deck because it's been some time since another Flygon cards came out. So yeah, definitely trying to try this deck, and actually very excited to do so. It's always exciting when you play with your favorite Pokemon. Never mind, I'm just being biased, but I think if you play the PTCGO or you play PTCG, you'll understand what I mean. It's just fun when your favorite Pokemon actually is playable and you can play with it. Okay, let's just move on. Now we have Anorith and Amaldo, another fossil Pokemon. Okay, Anorith is a stage 1 and Amaldo evolved from Anorith. Okay, the first attack, Ancient Blast, needs 2 energy, 20 plus damage. This attack does 50 more damage for each unidentified fossil in your discard pile. So, at first I was thinking, Anorith and Amaldo evolved from unidentified fossil, isn't it? Then isn't this not very efficient? But then, because you have Pokemon Research Lab now, so if you are able to set up your Pokemon Research Lab, use it to find Anorith and then get the Amaldo and just drop all your unidentified fossil, this card can actually do 220 damage for 2 energy. How amazing is that? And the good thing is, because it's an evolution Pokemon, you can use things such as double boost. Double boost, what am I saying? It's super boost, triple acceleration energy, is only 2 colorless, and there's no DCE of course in the English set. And of course, you can also use things like Expert Belt. Wait, no, Expert Belt. I mean Character Belt. But the Character Belt doesn't work. Actually, never mind. The Character Belt reduces 1 fighting energy, so it doesn't work in this case. Or even charge up slowly on this card. But yeah, honestly, it is actually quite good. And it's a very interesting card that you can actually put in your fossil deck. So the fossil deck, I actually just played it a few days ago maybe, and as you can see, it's actually quite good nowadays with the Rampados, and this can be a good addition if you run a fossil deck. Then maybe you just want to do a lot of damage, and you can use Amaldo as well. So yeah, I can see some people interested to play these cards, but yeah, it's a bit of gimmick that it's a bit hard to get, but still, if it's able to do a lot of damage, I believe some people will be interested to make this card works. Okay, next up we have Rockruff and Lycanroc. Okay, the Rockruff is just a basic. I'm actually quite interested in the first attack because it's just annoying. You use Raw, it's 1 energy. If you start second, you can actually just use this to mess with the opponents. So that's one good thing about this Rockruff. Then evolves to Lycanroc with the ability Boiling Blood. If your opponent has any Pokemon GX in play, the energy cost for this Pokemon's attack is reduced by 3 colorless. Okay, so the attack itself costs 3 colorless of course, and it does 60 plus damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon has any special energy to it, this attack does 70 more damage. So actually, I don't like this card. Because the condition, it depends on the opponent. So the moment you play this card, your opponent know what this card is, and they will find a way not to make this card works. It's the same thing when you're facing against Treasure Lunch, for example. Then you will actually try your best to not throw any item cards. And it's the same thing when you go against Gengar and Mimikyu, for example. Then you will try your best to have less trainer cards in your hand. So it's the same thing if you go against this card, this Lycanroc. Then of course the opponent will know about it, and they will not play any Pokemon GX, and they will try their best not to play any special energy. So this card is not very good, simply because the condition is all dependent on the opponent's deck. Yeah, so not really looking forward to people playing this card. And I don't think a lot of people will be interested anyway. Okay, we move on. We have Sandy Gas and Pelosan. Okay, Sandy Gas, just a basic. We have Pelosan here. 3 colorless energy, guard press, 80 damage. During your opponent's next turn, any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 20. Okay, nothing special actually, just 80 damage. And the next one is Fighting and 3 colorless. Earthquake, 150 damage. This attack does 20 damage to each of your Pokemon. I think there are other cards that will do this job better, but otherwise 150 damage, then does 20 damage to each of your Pokemon. If you are playing the deck that depends on the damage counters on all of your Pokemons, then I guess you can actually put 1 or 2 copies of this card, and because it's thought that it's very hard to set it up. A 3 colorless energy, you can simply use triple colorless energy. And after that, I believe you don't really need to use this anymore, and you're just going to let it be knocked out before you send out your other Pokemon. So I can see it being played only in the damage deck though. The deck that depends on the damage counter spread on your own Pokemon. I don't actually remember which card does that. I think it's Terrakion if I'm not wrong. But yeah, okay, let me do a quick research. Okay. Okay, please give me a second. Yeah, so it's Terrakion. So this Terrakion from Unified Minds. Oh yeah, it just came out. So 1 fighting, 2 colorless energy, cavern counter, 50 plus damage. If all your bench Pokemon have at least 1 damage counter on them, this attack does 150 more damage. So it's actually 200 damage in total. So that is very good. So I can only see the Pelosan being played on that deck. Then maybe you can set up with triple acceleration. Of course, do this attack first. Do quite a bit of damage and spread the damage around. Then you can send out your Terrakion. But again, the problem is Terrakion actually requires 1 fighting and 2 colorless. And since there's no more DCE in English expansion, I don't think it is very relevant. It might be more relevant in Japanese game, but yeah, we are not going to go so much to it. Okay, now we move on to the steel type. We have Alolan Sandshrew and Alolan Sandslash. Nothing important for the Sandshrew. The Sandslash has round attack with no energy, 30 damage, flip a coin. If has prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks during your opponent's next turn. Okay, that's just a normal gimmicks. And the second attack, Metal, colorless, enhanced needle, 60 plus damage. If this Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached to it, this attack does 60 more damage. So basically it does 120 for 3 energy with a Pokemon tool required. I mean, Metal has a lot of good Pokemon tools like Metal Goggles, Metal Frying Pan, but again, I don't see it being played so much because the double colorless energy is really important if you really want to play this deck. Metal don't really have energy acceleration. I have seen one playing with Welder, but you see, I think since you still have metal energy, I still think it's not very efficient. So let's just move on. Okay, next up we have Mawile. Mawile have the abilities and no abilities. The first attack, dual call, search your deck up to 2 tag team cards, refill them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Not really good. I mean, if you search for 2 tag team cards, oh okay, tag team cards. I thought it was tag team Pokemon. Because if you search for 2 tag team Pokemons, I believe it will be much better if it's just put on bench. But if it tag team cards means that it's just an extra card they can use to find your, tag team supporters and new things that I think it just comes out in this expansion, is it? Yeah, it should be because it's there, but other than that, I don't know why you want to waste one of your slot for this, honestly. Okay, next up we have Probopass, the evolution from Nosepass just now. First attack, 3 colorless, hard press, 60 damage. Flip a coin if his opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Nope. Second attack, metal and 3 colorless, triple nose, 80 plus damage. Flip 3 coins, this attack does an additional 40 damage times the number of hits. Nope. Okay, let's just move on. Never mind, I'm just not really interested with it. Next up we have Solgaleo, of course the continuation of the Solgaleo and Lunala combo from the previous video. Okay, so the ability Sun Armor. If you have Lunala in play, all of your Solgaleo and Lunala in play takes 50 less damage from your opponent's attack. This is after applying weakness and resistance. Oh, okay. You can't apply more than one Sun Armor ability at a time. So this is actually quite good, I feel, because you have 170 HP and you take 50 less damage. Yeah, definitely you're going to be 2 hit by most of the cards out there. So for non-GX, being 2 hit it's a thing. Yeah, then the attack itself is 2 metal, 2 colorless, Solar Fang, 180 damage. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. Okay, the thing is, right, you won't have any issue discarding 2 energy because, you know, you have that ability from Lunala that lets you attach 2 energy to your Solgaleo or Lunala. So it's actually a new gimmick that lets you play with the Solgaleo and Lunala, and I think it's very interesting. I'm quite interested to try this deck. And the energy that you discarded, you can simply use things like Brock's Grid or Energy Recycler. Just get it back to your deck so that your Lunala can keep charging. And the thing is, you set up 2 Lunala and maybe 1 Solgaleo, then you can get the 4 energy immediately. The problem is because they evolve from the same Pokemon. They evolve from Cosmo and Cosmo M, so there are a limit of how much you can set up your Solgaleo and Lunala. And the most that you have is maybe 5 because you will have Ditto, of course, that can evolve into anything. So maybe you set up 2 Lunala, 3 Solgaleo, but since it's still a non-GX, right? Then what is going to be your next attacker after Solgaleo is something that you need to think about if you really want to make this deck works. So yeah, that's for Steel type. So let's move on to our next typing, which is the Fairy type. Here we have the Alolan Ninetales, the evolution from the Alolan Vulpix. So Dust Blow 10 times damage. This attack does 10 damage for each Pokemon tool card in your discard pile. So this is very interesting because you can play it with the Rotom deck, and it's just for a lot of damage. The Rotom decks use no energy and depends on the number of Pokemon tool in your discard, and this is another thing that depends on the Pokemon tool in your discard pile. So an interesting gimmick, and another thing that is very interesting I feel, because they have no limit of how much damage you can do. If you can actually manage to put like 30 Pokemon tool cards into your discard and, you know, use this attack, since you don't need energy anyway, you just need to evolve your Alolan Vulpix, then it will actually do a lot of damage. It will actually be a very, very strong deck. So I am looking forward to see people actually try this. Okay, I think another good thing is because it's a Fairy type, so you can just spam your Fairy Charm. You know, you have Fairy Charm for a lot of things that can counter the Tag Team GXs and stuff, so you have that to make sure that your Pokemon don't die easily. At the same time, you can do a lot of damage to your opponent's Pokemon. Of course, I don't see this card being very good maybe against non-GX, but otherwise, very interesting gimmick. There's no limit to the amount of damage that you can do, and it is very, very interesting. I actually want to try playing this card when it comes out. Okay, next up we have another baby Pokemon, Azurill. Ability is Rapid Charge. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If hits, attach your basic energy card from your discard pile to your active Pokemon. If you use this ability, your turn ends. So this is another gimmick that is actually in the, you know, baby Pokemon, and what it does is attach basic energy from this card this time. Nah, why would you want to use this? I don't know. Let's just move on. Okay, next we have Flabébé line. So again, we have 2 Flabébé. Why? They don't even have an ability, but I guess the first attack is better. You see Flower Invitation, search your deck up to 2 fairy Pokemon, refill them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So it helps you prepare for the next turn better than the second Flabébé. Oh, okay, never mind, the second Flabébé actually is fine as well. This attack does 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, which is actually quite interesting for a basic Pokemon that needs 1 energy only. So I believe this can work quite well with things that depends on damage on the opponent's Pokemon. Things like even Wheezing, because the Wheezing that depends on the damage counter first. So if you're actually able to do this first before you send out your Wheezing, then it's something, but it's a different type, so I guess it doesn't work. Never mind. Okay, then the evolution we have Floette and Florges with the same ability. Right. So when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may choose a card in your opponent's hand. Your opponent refills that card and shuffles it into your deck. So it's a disruption. Yeah. This is a very good disruption. It's very similar to Mars, but Mars I think discard it. For this one, you will going to return it to their deck. But the moment you'll be able to do this, right, if you can actually decrease the opponent's hand into 0 maybe, and then you can start using Chip Ice Eggs, then you control opponent's deck. This can become a very good control deck. And the good thing is, I believe there's a Flabébé that can evolve on the first turn, right? Using the Flabébé that can evolve on the first turn, then you can evolve it to Floette and just discard a card first. Then the next turn you can use Florges, evolve everything into Florges, and Florges choose 2 cards in your opponent's hand. So if you can set up 3 of them at the same time, it is very likely that you will be able to, you know, just return all the opponent's hand to their deck. So it'll be a very good control deck. Yeah, I'm actually quite interested to see. And I heard this card is also banned because the moment you do this, then your opponents can't play. So we'll see. I'm not sure about the English set, but whether the English will actually ban this card or not. But yeah, we'll see. It's a very interesting gimmick. It's very like control-ish, and I don't know. Just try it out maybe when it comes out. Okay, next up we have Swirlix and Slurpuff. Okay, Swirlix just a basic. Slurpuff, 1 energy, Charming Aroma. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. A second attack, Sweet Panic, 110 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon isn't confused, this attack fails. Why would you want to do this? I mean, that means you need 2 turns to actually do this, and there isn't really an effective way to make your opponents confused. I know there's an ear-ringing bell, but that requires your opponent to actually attack you, and you know, with that HP, Swirlix having 60 HP, then Slurpuff having 110 HP, you're very likely to just be knocked out with 1 attack. So yeah, I don't know why you want to play this. Never mind, next up we have Sylveon. How long have we taken? Okay, we have taken quite some time actually. It's always like this. Okay, never mind. Sylveon, we have evolved from EV. First attack, Moonblast, 30 damage. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attack do 20 less damage. Okay, just a usual gimmick, I guess. Second attack, 3 energy, Love Wave, 80 plus damage. If you play a tag team supporter card from your hand during this turn, this attack does 80 more damage. So it can actually do 160 damage each turn, but again, this is the problem of English set, right? We don't have DCE. Looking at this, right, I mean, what you're supposed to do is put the Fairy Energy, and maybe you can do Moonblast first, and the next turn you put the DCE so you are able to do the Love Wave attack. But without DCE, this becomes, I don't know, irrelevant, I guess. And the Tag Team Supporter card, I guess, is also a bit of a harder condition to achieve, since we don't really have a lot of Tag Team Supporter cards out yet, and we'll only take a look at the effects later. So yeah, I don't see people playing this card also. Okay, next up we are on the Dragon typing. Here we have our 2 Tag Team GX Pokemon that is out on this set. First up, Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia Tag Team GX. So the first attack, Ultimate Ray, requires 1 water, 1 metal, and 1 colorless energy. So 150 damage. Search your deck up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. Okay, I guess the problem that I see from this is, you know, you want to get the water, metal, and colorless first, the 3 energy. I guess it's not going to be very easy for you to get 3 energy first. So this one will see how effective it is to accelerate the energy to Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia before you will know whether this deck is good or not. But other than that, I can see this card being played maybe with Naganadel and Quagsire, because water energy you can really depends on the Naganadel Quagsire. The metal energy is the one that you might need to find, but Viridian Forest I think can do this job good enough. Okay, then the GX itself is Altered Creation GX. For the rest of the game, your Pokemon attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, if this Pokemon has at least 1 extra water energy attached to it, when your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from those attacks, take 1 more prize card. This is, I don't know, broken. Is it? I mean, the moment you take 1 more prize card, then your opponent's non-GX will become 2 prize cards. Your GX Pokemon will become 3 prize cards, and that's like ridiculous. And you only need to beat up less Pokemon to be able to win the game. It seems like, I don't know. I mean, of course it's not very easy to do the GX because you need a metal and water energy, but it's still considerably easy, you know, compared to other GX attack that requires a lot more extra energy. But in this case, you only need 1 metal and 1 water. In 2 turns you can do it, and you can do the GX, then maybe run away after that, use your other Pokemon to attack. And your other Pokemon becomes very good because it does more damage and takes more prize cards. Okay, I'm not really sure again what this card will be played with when it comes out. It seems that there are a lot of things that you can explore. Things by using maybe Magnezone for metal energy, Naganadel Quagsire for water energy as I mentioned. But I can see a lot of people will try to play these cards just because the GX attack is quite broken, I believe. Yeah, interesting gimmick by the by Pokemon Company though. Here is something I believe we have never seen before. And take 1 more prize cards. I mean, okay, never mind. After I say never seen before, then I remember about some other cards that lets you take more prize cards. So I take my what I said back. But you know, to take 1 more prize card with any Pokemon and throughout the whole game is definitely something new. So we will see. I can see it being very annoying. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it anymore. But yeah, let's just move on. Next up here we have Naganadel and Gastlord GX. So this is a tag team Ultra Beast. I'm not sure if we have seen another tag team Ultra Beast before. Is this the first one? Okay, for the ability Gluttony, once during your turn, you may discard a Pokemon from your hand, and if you do, heal 60 damage from this Pokemon. So that is actually quite good since you have a lot of HP. You have 280 HP, and you don't want to be. You are most probably going to be 2 hit or 1 hit. I mean 2 hit or 3 hits. And with that, right, you can even extend your life even further. So you can combine this with max Great Potion, mixed herbs, make it becomes very hard to kill. Things like that. And the attack itself is not very special. It's a pure damaging move. Jet Pierce, 180 damage. It is actually quite a big damaging move. 180 damage, most probably going to 1 hit or 2 hits. Everything else as well, even the tag team GXs. And it requires 1 psychic, 1 dark, and 1 colorless energy. Seems a bit hard to get, but I guess Viridian Forest will do the job since you are going to heal up yourself a lot. I don't think there's a really rush to get the 3 energy out. Okay, the GX itself is 1 colorless energy, Chaos Order GX. Flip over your prize cards. If this Pokemon has at least 1 extra psychic and extra dark energy to it, take 2 prize cards. What? Okay, that's interesting. So actually this is very interesting. I'm looking forward to people actually playing this card, and I'm actually interested to just try this card because the Chaos Order is basically the the energy that you need for the Jet Pierce attack. So 1 dark, 1 psychic, 1 colorless, and you can get 2 prize cards for free. Why not? It's always why not. And maybe if you want to like surprise to your opponents, then you only need to take 2 prize cards left, and you just send this GX attack, and you'll do it without even knocking out your opponent's Pokemon. That's actually quite amazing. I think this is one card that I'm really interested to play because of the very funny gimmick. Yeah. And the good thing is, his ability is also quite good, honestly. So as long as you can keep this Pokemon alive, then charge very slowly. Even if you charge very slowly, you can still make it work. Very interesting and very funny. Okay, next up we have our Dragon type Drampa. Oh, that was a Dragon type, is it? Yeah, it was a Dragon type, amazingly. Oh, okay. Drampa and okay, a Drampa, Dragon Fan, Dragon Claw. Okay, never mind. Not very interesting. Let's just move on. I don't think we have a lot of time left. We're 30 minutes in. Yeah. Okay, next up on the Dragon type, we have Jangmo-O and Komo-O line, basically. The basic, again, they do 2 different art cards for this basic. I don't know why. But again, there are difference in HP, so I guess one is able to be taken by Professor M, the other one is not. Okay, next up, Hakamo-O has ability Warrior's Roar. If your opponent's Pokemon has any Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX in play, this Pokemon can evolve on the turn that it comes to play. So it's actually quite interesting, but again, it depends on the opponent's Pokemon, and most likely you're going to play Rare Candy instead of the stage 1. But I guess this enables you a bit of flexibility in case you don't actually get your Rare Candy, then you can just search for Hakamo-O first. But you can still evolve it into Komo-O the same turn if opponent actually Pokemon GX or EX. So that's a interesting ability and a good ability to have. So Komo-O has the first attack Fighting, 1 fighting, shot of power, 60 damage. Attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. Okay, just energy acceleration. The second attack, Lightning and Fighting, scale up a card, 90 plus damage. You may discard a Pokemon tool from this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 90 more damage. Okay, this is actually very interesting, but that means you are actually going to play a lot of Pokemon tool. Not sure, the condition is not exactly the easiest to achieve, but it does 180 damage for 2 energy, so that's definitely a good damage. I can see some people trying to make this works, but other than that, I don't think this is the best non-GX attacker out there, simply because of the condition. I believe there are other Pokemon with easier conditions to match, which will be more consistent, because the condition will make it not very consistent in the long match. Yeah. Okay, let's just move on. Here we have Ultra Necrozma and the ability Ultra Burst. This Pokemon can only attack if your opponent has 2 or fewer prize cards remaining. Okay, so this is your Ultra Beast that depends on the opponent's prize cards. And the attack is Psychic and Metal, Destruction Shine. 170 damage, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Honestly, I can only see it being played in Ultra Necrozma GX deck, because the requirement is Psychic and Metal, which is the same as Ultra Necrozma GX. So in case that you cannot really send out your GX Pokemon because the opponent has 2 prize cards remaining, but you need quite a lot of damage, then you can send this small Ultra Necrozma instead, because it will only give out 1 prize cards if it's knocked out. But other than that, not really. Okay, we move on to the colorless type. Now we have another tag team GX, which is Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff GX. First attack, 3 colorless energy, Jumping Balloon, 60 plus damage. This attack does 60 more damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon GX. Wait, why? This is very, I don't know. The condition again depends on the opponent's Pokemon, and I don't really like it, because the moment you know that you are playing this card, then of course the opponent not going to put out a lot of Pokemon EX and Pokemon GX. And 60 is not exactly a low damage. So yeah, unless this is not your main attacker, then I guess this card may be good to put in a few decks for like extra attacker to surprise the opponent. Yeah, I can only see this card being played well if you are only going to surprise the opponent suddenly in the mid game. Maybe they already put down, maybe they did an GX, or maybe if they play Oricorio GX, they play a few tag team GXs, they put at least 2 or 3, right? Then you can immediately do 180 to 240 damage, which is a very very big damage. And it can even have potential to one hit those tag team GX. So yeah, but again, if your opponent knows that you are playing this card, then I don't see it as being very good because it depends on the opponent's Pokemon. So I see this not going to be played as the main attacker. You are not going to run 4 copies of Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff Tag Team GX. Most probably you're going to run 1 copy because you need colorless energy, so you can honestly run it in any deck. Even things like Psychic deck, Fire type deck, but Fire type, why? You don't need this anymore. But yeah, things like that, since it is colorless, so you can put it in any deck and it can work as a surprise attacker. But other than that, not really going to be the main character, the main attacker of a deck. Okay, the GX attack, Pulse Smasher GX. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. If this Pokemon has at least 4 extra energy cards attached to it, this attack does 200 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Okay, so this is actually okay, because I believe not a lot of decks can do this 4 extra energy immediately. This will be very good, like I said, because you want it to be a surprise attacker. This will only be very good if you know that you can accelerate 4 extra energy immediately to this Pokemon. So maybe things like Neganadel and Quagsire can make it happen. Things like Malama can make it happen. Can it? 4 extra energy are actually very very hard, but still has potentials. And things like maybe if you play 4 Head Ladies, you can make it happen, but otherwise you're not really going to use this because asleep, you can easily wake up from a sleep. Paralyzed is much better, and you can switch it. You can still switch it using things like Escape Board as well. The 200 damage is actually very good, that you can snipe off opponent's bench Pokemon that is like the liabilities, things like the Dedenne GX of course. But again, the 4 extra energy means the total 5 energy is not very easy to achieve. Unless that you are able to do so, then I guess this card will not really be played in the deck. Yeah, I can see this card being put in Neganadel and Quagsire GX deck of course. Then you can use it for a surprise attack because you can easily get a 3 colorless energy, but yeah, a lot of other decks will not be able to do it honestly. So yeah, let's move on. Next we have Eevee. Yeah, it's a basic that evolves to Sylveon, so nothing. Okay, next we have Apom and Ambipom. The Apom has the ability Darting Tail. Once during your turn, you may put the top card of your opponent's deck on the bottom of their deck. Wait, this might work with the, what is that called? Lantern, isn't it? You look at it using the lantern, then you choose to put the top card on the bottom of the deck using Apom. But again, why? I mean, your opponents after that is still going to draw a card, so okay, I'm still not really sure what's the point. Okay, never mind. The Ambipom has the attack, first attack, 1 colorless energy. Come catch, draw 2 cards. Nothing. 2 colorless energy, bye throw, 60 times damage. Discard up to 2 cards from your hand. This attack does 60 damage for each card discarded in this way. 60 damage, so that's 120, discard 2 cards. Why? I'm still going to say why every time I see this kind of thing, because exactly why? Okay, never mind. Next up, you have Tediosa and Ursaring. Tediosa, just a basic, evolves to Ursaring. 2 colorless energy, 50 damage. 4 colorless energy, Heavy Hope, 120 damage. The defending Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. So, I guess Yeah, why? Never mind. Next up we have Rufflet and Braviary. Rufflet just a basic, evolves to Braviary. First attack, clutch 30 damage. The defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. Normal gimmick, 1 energy, nothing special. 4 colorless energy, arrow for 140 damage. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Why? Okay, just move on to the next one. We have Helioptile and Heliolisk, our last Pokemon from Alter Genesis. Again, Helioptile is just a basic. Heliolisk to evolve from Helioptile. And the first attack, Parabola Encounter, 30 plus damage. If your opponent has any lightning Pokemon, lightning, I believe it lightning, so Pokemon in play, this attack does 90 more damage. Nope. Again, why? I thought it will be good if you have a lightning Pokemon in play, this attack does 90 more damage. Then 1 energy for 120 damage, definitely good. But you know, is if your opponent. How many decks nowadays plays lightning type Pokemon? Pikarom, I know that is a lightning type, but you know, how many decks I actually played that as well. So not good. It's not like 120 damage is very high damage also. So yeah, nope, not going to play that card. Okay, we actually spent 40 minutes already, so we are going to end it today. And the next one, we are going to go through the rest of the cards from the Alter Genesis set, which is the trainer cards, and of course some of the cards from what is it, Tag All Stars, that is going to be in Cosmic Eclipse. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys again next time. Bye bye.